Hello pork scratching fans. In this episode of Pork Scratching Review, I'm going to look at the Openshaws Gastro Pub range, which is a very, very exciting attempt to bring pork scratchings right up to the 21st century. Of course, if you take a classic, well-loved snack and try and put a twist on it, that twist has got to be good. Otherwise, it's a bit like putting a red nose on the Mona Lisa or something. So, have Openshaws cracked making pork scratchings into something new and exciting? Let's find out with the first one, which is the Cumberland Sausage flavour. Now, everybody knows that Cumberland is the best sort of sausage, so it is an ideal flavouring to add to the best pork scratching snack. A slightly more difficult packet to get into, but there we go. A quick sniff, and clearly smells deliciously of pork scratching and the herbs on a Cumberland sausage. It doesn't really list. Oh, put black pepper, white pepper, nutmeg, sage, and onion, which would be your Cumberland mix. Let's find out what they're like. Seems to be a very light texture. Let's find out. That is delicious. That tastes like a Cumberland sausage. It's less salty than perhaps a traditional scratching type mix. This one, of course, is the pork crunch rather than a scratching, which is a much airier, lighter texture. To me, a scratching is much better than a crunch. I find the crunches a little bit of nothing to them really. But that's a pork crunch that I probably could enjoy because the flavouring is really good. There's a heat to it that's coming, I guess, from the black pepper, which is just lingering on the tongue there. So all in all, a pretty good attempt and a pretty good recreation of a Cumberland sausage in a crunchy snack. Yeah, that's good. That's delicious. Now, as everyone knows, if you visit a gastropub, it is illegal to serve pork that hasn't been pulled. And so, therefore, Openshaws have come up with this pork crackling, this time in barbecue pulled pork flavour. This one has got aniseed, ginger, cinnamon, and I'm guessing some sort of tomato-y extract in there. Let's find out if it's any good. Smells much more like what you'd expect from pork scratching. The flavour isn't getting me there in the odours. This being the crackling, of course, not the scratching. If you want to know the difference, look at the last episode. Good golden colour. It's got, you can see the flavouring on it actually. That's quite unusual. There isn't any tomato in there, I don't think. You get an aniseedy flavour, which is there up front. Actually, it's nice, but I was hoping for something more from that, actually. I have to be honest. I was hoping for something a bit punchier. The spices they've used are those sort of more fragrant spices, the cinnamon, ginger and aniseed, but I'm not getting the heat of the ginger, and for me, barbecue needs to have some depth. Perhaps it needs tomato or something, that kind of stickiness, that depth that you get on a real barbecue. One more just for luck. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not awful. It's quite tasty. It is quite tasty. It's nice, but That's not as nice as the Cumberland, and it's not for me as nice as a traditional pork scratching. There we go. Now this last one I am very, very excited about. For a start, it's a true pork scratching, which for me is the king of pork snacks. And if you're going to then go into the butcher's produce, everybody knows that the best pig byproduct is black pudding. Now, presumably this is a flavouring added to a pork scratching, so it's not made of black pudding itself, but let's find out. Listed on here we have white pepper, we've got onion, we've got marjoram and thyme, and other spice extracts that are clearly just in a mix, but let's find out what they're like. It does smell of black pudding. It does. It does. It doesn't look it. It looks like a pork scratching. They're big ones as well in this packet. I'm quite lucky. Let's find out if they've managed to hit the flavour spot. Oh! They have, you know. Now, being a scratching, it's got that fattiness. Of course, a good black pudding would have those lumps of fat in there. That tastes of black pudding. That's quite remarkable. I genuinely don't know how they've done it. What my eyes are seeing is different to what my taste buds are telling me. One more. It's lovely. It's lovely. It's really nice. Now, I suppose the question becomes, would I order those instead of a standard packet of pork scratching? They are less salty. They are less kind of intense, that hit that you get of pork scratchingness. I probably would order the black pudding ones. I may order the Cumberland ones, but I'd rather see that on a scratching rather than a crunch. I wouldn't order the barbecue unless they can perhaps get some more depth in there. It's certainly an interesting experiment. They are pretty successful, and maybe, just maybe, this will open the whole world of pork scratchings to a whole new funky metropolitan kind of customer. I could see these being sold alongside posh crisps in a West End London pub, being eaten slightly ironically with a pint of real ale. So yeah, full marks for trying something new, full marks for the black pudding one, and next time we're going to look at chocolate pork scratching and answer the question, are you mental? But in the meantime, I'm going to have another one of these.